Welcome everyone, I'm Dale and this is Cinema Historia. Missing heirs, an ex-girlfriend, and an upper-crust rival. This week we're going back to 1934 for a comedy crime film called Jimmy the Gent, starring James Cagney, Bette Davis, and Alan Jenkins. And this is directed by Michael Curtiz. So, where does our story begin this week? Well, our story begins with the unscrupulous Jimmy Corrigan, played by James Cagney. Jimmy runs the James Corrigan Personal Contacts Agency with his rough and tumble, slap-happy, helpless, subordinate foil Louis, played by Alan Jenkins. Jimmy searches for or manufactures heirs who have died without leaving a will, and often provides phony claimants in order to collect his 50% fee. His former girlfriend and employee, Joan Martin, played by Bette Davis, has left him because of his lack of ethics, accepts a position at the allegedly legitimate firm of Charles Wallingham, genealogist legal advisor. Jimmy understands that, but is discontent at his competition, Wallingham, because he operates with high class, high tea, and high impeccable manners. From his business window, Jimmy and Louis see the emergency hospital ambulance heading to the hospital and excitedly think this could be their next big swindle. It seems a woman who eats out of garbage cans dies as the doctors are trying to save her, begin to search for her identity. It's discovered that the inside of her coat is lined with treasury bonds, jewels, and gold worth $200,000. With both agencies having a snitch at the hospital and a hot tip, the search commences to find or manufacture heirs. Wallingham finds one of the real heirs, a Miss Barton, so Jimmy searches for one that will trump Wallingham's. He finds him, Marty Barton, a gambler who's now going by the name of Joe Rector. However, he won't show his face to collect the inheritance because he's wanted for murder. To fix this problem, Jimmy gets Joe to marry gum-chewing Mabel and nightclub singer Gladys, who witnessed the murder, and now that she's his wife, can't testify against him in court. Sounds like trouble. So, does Joe now testify in court, collect his $200,000, and split it with Jimmy? Does Joan find out about bigamy and think Jimmy is still the biggest chiseler since Michelangelo? Or does the supposed rival set sail for Paris, proving he is an even bigger crook than Jimmy the Gent? Released March 17, 1934, the film's story is based on the story The Heir Chasers, written by American screenwriters Ray Nazaro and Laird Doyle. It was the first pairing of Cagney and Davis, who would reunite in 1941 for the screwball romantic comedy The Bride Came COD. And I have this film if you'd like a review on that one. It's a lot of fun. James Cagney utters the phrase, "the dirty rat," which will be used as his catchphrase for years to come. The New York Times described the film as a brisk, slangy piece of work in which Cagney is as much a pepper pot as ever. Variety said, an expert film, a thoroughgoing typical Cagney in his usual role, good for plenty of laughs. And that it is, and it's only 67 minutes to watch. And our trivia question this week, did the title of this movie become the nickname of a real-life criminal? Did the title of this movie become the nickname of a real-life criminal? So, a little more history, and the answer to our trivia question, coming up next. Now, what kind of an automobile would you want to be driving if you were a gent trying to win back your girlfriend? Well, I found a 1934 McLaughlin Buick 66S, making it the subject of this week's history. So McLaughlin Motor Car Company was a Canadian manufacturer of automobiles headquartered in Oshawa, Ontario. Founded by Robert McLaughlin, it once was the largest carriage manufacturing factory in the British Empire. Around 1905, Robert's son Sam started building automobiles, and by 1907, this enterprise had grown to include the manufacture of McLaughlin automobiles with Buick engines. In 1915, the company manufactured Chevrolet vehicles for the US and Canadian market, and in 1918, McLaughlin was taken over by General Motors and merged into General Motors of Canada. And this 1934 McLaughlin Buick 66S comes courtesy of the Canadian Automotive Museum in Oshawa, Ontario. During the Depression years, Buick built inexpensive cars with big motors for wealthy car buyers fallen on hard times. The 66S, the sport coupe of the series, combined sleek Art Deco styling with several old-style features like a luggage rack and a rear rumble seat. Powered by Buick's 278 cubic inch straight 8-cylinder engine, it produced 100 horsepower and had an approximate top speed of 130 kilometers an hour. Weighing in at 4,193 pounds, it came with a 3-speed synchro mesh transmission and sold for 1,375 Canadian dollars. 1934 saw the introduction of a combination starter gas pedal. Yes, with pushing the gas pedal all the way down, the starter would engage, which remained a feature of Buick until 1960. 1933 had been the worst year for Buick since 1914. However, 1934 model year saw production double due to its new, smaller, more affordable Series 40. This car is thought to be quite rare, as less than 1,000 units of this model were produced that year, and this example is considered to be the only surviving 66S example from 1934 left in the country. And in Canada, the 1934 McLaughlin Buicks were also referred to as the Silver Anniversary models, commemorating 25 years of production in this country. And this vehicle was donated to the Canadian Automotive Museum by Mr. and Mrs. Robert LaBelle of Smith Falls, Ontario. Very nice. And the answer to our trivia question this week: did the title of this movie become the nickname of a real-life criminal? Yes. James Burke, also known as Jimmy the Gent, was an American gangster and Lou Chee's crime family associate. The Lufthansa heist on December 11, 1978 is believed to have been planned by Burke and carried out by several of his associates. An estimated $5.8 million, or $28.3 million by today's dollars, was stolen, with $5 million in cash and $875,000 in jewelry, making it the largest cash robbery committed on American soil at that time. And James Burke was portrayed by Robert De Niro, renamed Jimmy Conway, in the 1990 biographical gangster film Goodfellas by Martin Scorsese. Very nice, very interesting actually. I'd like to give a big thank you to my viewers, subscribers, and everyone leaving comments. Thanks very, very much, and we'll see you next time.